Welcome to this Saturday Travel and History Tip. Today we will be going to Fort Kearney State Historical Park. You'll notice that Kearney is spelled two different ways. I'm not sure which is correct because you can find it both ways in historical records. But here we go. It is part of the Nebraska State Park System with camping and fishing and many things for families to do. We went for the historic aspect of the park. Near Kearney, spend a few hours at Fort Kearney State Historical Park. This was the first fort built on the Oregon Trail to protect travelers, so that's extremely interesting. The fort was completed in December of 1848. The diversified fort served as military and civil government headquarters, a stage station, Pony Express home station, an outfitting depot for Indian campaigns, and the home of the famed Pawnee Scouts under the leadership of Frank and Luther North. An easy walk to the fortifications earthworks around the former parade grounds is recommended. Enter a gunpowder magazine storage and sod-roofed blacksmith shop, both filled with time-period items such as a Mormon handcart. The museum has a tremendous collection of artifacts excavated from the site, plus items gifted or on loan to the park. Memorable objects include building plans, rusted pistols, uniform emblems, the old Kearney post office, and a Pony Express rider's Colt revolver, holster, and mailbag. Following the 1848 establishment of Fort Kearney, 2 miles east of here, and the later expansion of overland commerce and immigration, the small commercial center of Kearney City was established here in 1859. The town's more common name, Doby Town, was derived from the resemblance of its 12 to 15 earthen buildings to adobe structures. Doby Town itself developed in response to the thousands of soldiers, freighters, and travelers whose needs could not be met within the fort. Gambling, liquor, and disreputable men and women were its principal attractions. One of the town's most famous visitors, General William Tecumseh Sherman, described the horrible whiskey he was served here as Tanglefoot. However, in addition to its notorious functions, Doby Town also served as the major outfitting point west of the Missouri River, the center of frontier transportation from 1860 to 1866, a Pony Express station, and the first county seat of Kearney County. The completion of the Union Pacific Railroad in 1869 reduced the flow of travel by the fort until finally in 1871 it was abandoned, sounding the death knell of Doby Town, a pioneer frontier town. The growth of overland immigration to Oregon after 1842 resulted in the establishment of military posts across the west to protect travelers. The first post, Fort Kearney, was established in the spring of 1848 near the head of the Grand Island along the Platte River by Lieutenant Daniel P. Woodbury. It was first called Fort Childs, but in 1848 the post was renamed Fort Kearney in honor of General Stephen Watts Kearney. Despite its lack of fortifications, Fort Kearney served as a way station, sentinel post, supply depot, and message center for 49ers bound for California and homeseekers traveling to Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. By the 1860s, the fort had become a significant stage and freighting station and home station of the Pony Express. During the Indian Wars of 1864 through 1865, a small stockade was apparently built upon the earth embankment still visible. Although never under attack, the post did serve as an outfitting depot for several Indian campaigns. One of the fort's final duties was the protection of workers building the Union Pacific. In 1871, 2 years after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, the fort was discontinued as a military post. This site has been entered on the National Register of Historic Places. When traveling through Nebraska, be sure and catch the many byways, such as the Lincoln Highway and the Sand Hills Journey. One of the exciting things to see in central Nebraska are the cranes. They breed between April and May and they lay 2 eggs. The wingspan is 6 feet long and they weigh 6 to 8 pounds. They are 3.5 feet tall. They come from Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and they go to Canada, Alaska, and parts of Siberia. But they stay there in Nebraska, in that region, 6 to 8 weeks. Why? To rest and feed for the rest of their journey. And we have enjoyed many evenings going through the back roads of central Nebraska looking for these gorgeous sandhill cranes. It is so exciting because this too is a part of American history, just like the grave of Susan Hale, who died along the Oregon Trail. And as we've mentioned, many people died along the trail. Most of their graves are long forgotten and nowhere to be found. But here we can find the grave of Susan Hale. And interestingly, talking about those typos or misspellings, on one sign her name has an E, and on her tombstone there is no E. Love it. Love the Lincoln Highway. Appreciate it. I hope you can find this intersection one day. It's the corner of South Conestoga Avenue and the West Oregon Trail Road. Don't let them steal our history. The Pony Express mail service on horseback operated from April 1860 until October 1861. The route went through 6 relay stations in Adams County for 30 miles along the Oregon Trail. Share our American history. Next Saturday, Fort Union and Fort Buford in North Dakota. Hope you watched the Saturday Travel and History Tips, which we've been talking about, the Oregon Trail. And now we are in the 4th series, which is symbiotic with the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail, the most traveled of the overland routes, passed this point on its way to the Great Platte Valley Highway to the west. The Oregon Trail started from Independence, followed the Kansas River west, and then the Little Blue north into Nebraska. It crossed this divide to reach the Platte near Fort Kearney. In the 1830s, trappers and missionaries recognized the Platte Valley as a natural roadway. The first wagon train followed the 2,000-mile trail to Oregon in 1841. An estimated 250,000 travelers used this route in the 25 years after those first wagons. Moving slowly, only 10 to 20 miles a day on the 3-month trip, thousands of hooves, shoes, and wheels pounded a wide trail into the prairie sod. Oregon was an early goal. The 49ers went this way to California. Settlers, stagecoaches, freighting wagons, Pony Express riders, and military expeditions all used this prairie highway. The Oregon Trail has earned a permanent place in our history. If you appreciate our content, tell others and repost on your social platform. Thank you.